Hey guys, I'm doing a like a kind of a let's play, let's study kind of thing, because there's this game that I've on itch that I've been kind of obsessed with. I'm sorry, I'm a little bunged up in my nose. I've had a problem for months now, so if I sound weird, weirder than normal, that's why. But this is Anemoiapolis. Maybe not the best name. I mean, I know what it means. Like anemoia is like a thing associated with this like craze of liminal spaces. That you hear about a lot lately. Look it up if you're not into it, because I'm sure people have explained this thousands of times. But anemoia. It means nostalgia for like a place, a time, an experience where you actually weren't there. So like if I watch a movie about people in the 70s and I feel a sense of nostalgia even though I was born in 85, that's anemoia, you know. And a lot of people are having this experience with these pictures of like hallways of hotel rooms of kids play areas and stuff like that, and it's weird, right? I'm kind of obsessed with these liminal spaces concept. That's the big fad at the moment. It's amazing. But this game, perhaps it's my obsession with liminal spaces. Perhaps it's the fact that I've been getting into a bit of 3D design and stuff. But I've ever since this beta of this game came out, I've been kind of obsessed with it. Like anytime I get a spare moment and I've got to kill some time, I fire this thing up and go through it again. So I kind of wanted to share it with everybody. This is developed by a guy called Andrew something. You know what? I'm gonna double check that because that's not fair to not credit somebody properly. Andrew Quist, or on Twitter as Anemoiapolis Dev, and yeah, it's obviously it's not finished. It's apparently about 50% of the first chapter, but this is what's on itch. I'm gonna play it, and I'm sorry. I also, you probably noticed that we're looking at a 21 by 9 screen right now, ultra wide. Usually, if I wanted, because I play in ultra wide at the moment, my monitor's ultra wide. But usually, if I was to do a video or a stream, I would put it in 16 by 9 so that it fills most people's monitors or your YouTube, your TV screen, your phone, whatever you watch YouTube on. But this being that this is an unfinished game, there aren't actually. I mean, maybe there is, but there didn't seem to be many options. So I'm just going from the default settings. I've tried to make a nice little border out of my logo. Anemoiapolis. Yeah, the name is, I mean, it's good, but the problem with a name like that is you can't. There you go, Andrew Quest. The problem with a name like that is that it's hard to remember it, right? When you want to search for it, and if you want to sell a game, you got to be able to remember the name. I don't know how my volume is, but there's a guy explaining and everything.
Anyways, for some reason we didn't realize that this place was sucking up like 15 times the amount of energy that.
Yeah, so this guy is an electrician.
You know, the usual bullshit.
He goes and checks on all of the transformers.
But don't be afraid
So
to put it
on the itch page, it talks about how there's not. It says a lot of it is text only, so you don't have to put up with my terrible voice acting. It said something like that. It said like, because I'm a developer, not a voice actor, so I've only done a few lines and the rest is text. And to be honest, like. If you're watching this, Andrew, the first thing I thought, I didn't see this on the page, but I just thought this voice acting was excellent, frankly. I was like, this is surprisingly great for like an itch game. So I say do more of it. Okay, so this is, you're not going to see much of this area really because we start outdoors, but it already has that kind of vivarium, like the movie Vivarium, which I wasn't big on, but I like the environments. Anemoiapolis. Anemoiapolis. I never noticed that before. You can have him attempt to pronounce it. Look at those god rays, man. So this guy's clearly been in 3D for a very long time because this looks absolutely gorgeous.
Wait a minute. Did somebody tamper with this?
So this is all just a little startup thing. He's going to check on this, this transformer or whatever. This is all, this is the just getting it started. Right, so yeah, press E to interact with objects, but before I can do that... Oh! By the way, my webcam doesn't create like a weird blue image. I've put like a filter on it for atmosphere. There we go. Alright, we are in water. We're in an underground pool. Fell down that hole. Very sparkly. Look at this beautiful water.
I should be dead right now. Where am I?
So,
God.
well,
Water's warm.
apparently the full game isn't entirely going to be based around it, but...
Hello?
So apparently the full game isn't going to be entirely based around it, but the majority of this demo is in a sort of swimming pool spa type place. Place which doesn't entirely make sense, you know. Like a lot of these liminal space renders you see, it's kind of like, it seems like it was designed for people, but it doesn't make sense. But this demo is mostly in a pool, and you do see like a lot of these photos on Liminal Space websites are like either weird photos from like either swimming pools or water reservoirs that don't seem to make much sense, or renders based on the concept. And it's a weird feeling. Perhaps it's because I've been taking my 5-month-old son swimming a lot, but something about the swimming pools just gets my attention. So it's a very shiny game, using a lot of not ray tracing, a lot of screen space reflection, and you can tell screen space reflection because check out you can see a reflection of that ladder in the. Now you can see a reflection of that ladder in the puddle, but in theory, so if I remove the ladder from view, so you can't see it, the reflection also disappears because it can only, and you can see those puddles further back as well. Kind of the reflection disappears because look, you're not rendering everything, right? The computer is not calculating every single thing that's going on in this scene until you're looking at it. Otherwise, it would use up so much power. And the way the screen space reflection works is that it just looks at what it's made and it reflects it. With a bit of a depth buffer so that it works in 3D, you know, like, but yeah, see those, I don't know if you can see, but see those poles kind of disappearing as I look down. Barely notice it, to be honest, unless you're looking for it. And I often say, if it works, because there's a big fad of like, use ray tracing now instead of screen space reflection, but ray tracing is so expensive, it uses so much power, and screen space reflection does a pretty damn good job of mimicking it. Are many people going to be playing your game and going, oh no, the ladder disappeared when I look down there? They're not, right? And now these lights, I'm obviously these aren't being rendered. I think that is, this is kind of new to me, but I think that is a thing called cube mapping, where it's like kind of a rendered sort of image of the environment being sort of used down there, which you'll see on games like Cruisin' on the Switch and stuff like that, where they kind of, it's a very loose approximation of reflections. So you tend to use your screen space reflection for your more detailed stuff, and then for when that stuff isn't being rendered, if you really want to reflect something that isn't being rendered, you tend to use a cube map. And it depends, you know, ray tracing can look a lot better. It depends, but I don't think it's entirely, you know, the future. Not for a good while anyway, because it just uses up so much power. Do we just... I don't know if diving boards actually work that way, but we just inverted a diving board so I could get up here. And it's just... these emptiness of these corridors is... yeah, who needs an underground pool? Though I think about this, and it's weird. It has that liminal space feeling where it's like it's somehow both a really awesome place where you really want to be, and also really unsettling, and it's very bizarre feeling, and I'm weirdly obsessed with it recently. This guy's like, well, who needs an underground pool? And when playing this before, I was like, what would if I was in this kind of situation, what would I think, right? Like, what would be... Because you always try to go to a logical explanation of something first, right? You don't go, I heard a noise, it's definitely a ghost. You go, something fell down, right? And I'm like, if I ended up in this situation, all I can think of was like, I just stumbled on some like stonemason spa, right? Some like secret spa that like Illuminati or whoever use. And okay, so these things are like, I found these interesting. When I first saw this, I thought it was like a telescope. I was like, where would I want to look for a telescope for this? But it's a water cannon, which I guess is a thing in some pools. Over here is a thing to switch it on. It's going to get more interesting soon, I promise. Love the way this water looks, these water shaders. Like, I don't know how experienced this guy is with 3D, but it's pretty amazing. I'm sure in the final game the particles will be better, I don't know, but I mean, you know, splitting hairs here. This is really amazing. Considering this is one dude's work. Yeah, so this doesn't open, so we have to get the water to spray at it and break the lock. The electric lock. Beep. On to the lazy river. It's bizarre, isn't it? You do get rooms like this, or you did. Maybe it's less popular now to have like clouds painted on walls and ceilings, but it's such a weird and contradictory sort of experience and feeling, these liminal spaces. I love this room. And this guy says, here we go. Oh, when my prompt appears, it'll appear in a minute, I'm sure. He says, this place makes me uncomfortable. And yeah, that just about sums it up. Look at these. I think this water shader is gorgeous. Like, look, it reflects everything really well. I'm assuming screen space reflection. It's no, doesn't disappear when it's not rendered. Possibly there's a copy of the model underneath. I don't know how that one's done. I'm relatively new to 3D. I'm kind of learning while I do this. There's even some water caustics onto the bottom. Look at that. Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous water shaders in this. Like, really sucks you in, makes you feel like you're in some kind of pool. And I think that's why I keep coming back to this game, because it's that weird mixture of like uncomfortable and unnerving, but also you kind of want to be there. I kind of want to go in this. I often feel that way about liminal spaces, because they're also, you often find these pictures that people share on these liminal space Reddits, etc. Is this ray traced? I don't think it is, but this is it's got to just be a really good cube map or something. I don't know. Tell me where I'm wrong, the people that know 3D better than I do. But these spaces, they also tend to be like out of time. Like, they tend to have like design that you haven't seen since maybe the 80s and 90s and things like that. Just stuff that's kind of hidden away in your memories somewhere, you know, and it invokes all kinds of feelings. And something I've noticed about this game is that though it looks very, very real, and yet some of the textures work is quite straightforward. Like these are clearly poles made of wood, but there's no like bolts, there's no screws, there's nothing. It's just wood texture, but you don't notice because it's just beautifully put together. Especially looking at some of these here, like some of the wood like isn't in a direction that would make sense. And I don't know if this is something that the dev is, you know, gonna tighten up later on or what, but you don't notice and you don't think about it, because I think the priority hasn't been placed on like texture seams and stuff, but instead just the scene as a whole. And that's how you make something gorgeous like this as a lone dev, I think. Beautiful game. The music is gorgeous as well. I don't know where the music comes from, but there's also like a weird sound of like a radio, or you know, like the tannoy, like something weird is coming over the tannoy. Yeah, this place is completely devoid of people. It's empty, and yet there's either it's in the music or there's something coming over the tannoy. Like, what is it? It's creepy. We're just walking down the slide. This slide isn't slippy. I'm not sure why. There's all kinds of reflection going on this slide as well. I don't know what this effect is, but it's got like a kind of graininess to it, which I remember seeing in the Resident Evil 2 remake. Again, I don't know. Maybe some 3D devs know better than me. Also, are the ripples appearing around me? Yeah, wow. Like, I have no idea how you achieve some of this stuff. Like, to actually have the ripples kind of follow you. Like, you can even see I wouldn't even looked at this before. You can see the tiled surface underneath the water. Beautiful. I'm guessing the translucency kind of, well, the opacity kind of falls off as it gets closer to you. These balconies, none of this makes any sense, but it all sort of does. And a lot of it is attached. It's like it's little things that are in your memory, just kind of being remixed, and it's yeah, it's weird, man. Love it. So the lazy river is also an exit. Yeah, I mean, only a few of the lines are voiced, but honestly, I thought the voice acting was surprisingly excellent. Let's have a look through here. It's a nice plant. Needs a pot. Or hang on, is this like? It's like a. No, it's not. I thought it was a soil pipe. No, the plant needs a pot. Well, look at this. That's interesting. The water shader has taken priority on the Z buffer, over the plant. Huh. That's cool. Man. It's hard to know what to say about it. Sometimes it's beautiful and incredibly put together. Even these rubber rings, these inflatable rings, they just have lovely reflection going on, and yeah. I think this is Unity. I saw the Unity logo at the start, but it runs well for something with so much reflection going on. Now it's easy to get lost in this bit, but I remember you just got to look out for the waterfall, and then there's a section which is different. I sometimes I'll loop around a few times. Sorry about that. Okay, I found the waterfall. I thought we went round that way. Maybe I'll go this way then. No, here. In the hum of the strip lights, the fluorescent lights. It's just every little bit of detail, and you can just hear the running water just in the distance. God, it's incredible. I am sure, I could be wrong, but I think there are rooms that are like cloned around here as well, so there are several rooms that look the same. Is it this way? I feel like I want to go this way. Yeah, okay, I'm going to go this way. Easy to get lost. Aha. Okay, here we go. So much of it makes no sense. I think the other thing as well, like, remember 2001 Space Odyssey? There's a thing about the monolith, how it's like clearly man-made because of how perfect the shape of it is, and yet it's clearly not because it's in space. And this is like the... Oh, have a nice shower. This is like the whole thing. This is clearly a, you know, a swimming pool, a spa club. I mean, there's even stuff like the colors are kind of like a kid's swimming pool. And these lines going along here, very sort of 1990s swimming pool. And yet, it makes no sense. It's kind of laid out like something in nature. Have I just looped around? I'll find my way out of here eventually. I think that's what throws you off, right? Like, oh, I remember. So we got to go through and find there's a room somewhere nearby, and there's a door to a staff room. I think I'm going the wrong way around, though. Yeah, okay. Sorry, everybody. The thing I notice here is that his water shader sort of tapers off towards the edges of the screen here. I'm not sure why. There is a fisheye effect going on, which always really helps with the immersion. It makes things feel less like a video game. Like, see how this corner here, watch how it bends as it goes towards the edge because of the fisheye effect. And I think it's just because we're not used to seeing that in video games, but it really helps things to feel more real. But I don't know if that's why but the water shader kind of tapers off at the edge there. I don't know what the solution to that is, because again, like I was showing with screen space reflection, it only refracts the things that are on screen. I wonder if the solution, if it was me, I guess I would maybe have the camera just slightly bigger than the screen, like, and then crop it so that those parts are removed. Maybe it's just colored things. I don't know what they are, but yeah. Oh my goodness, my brain is breaking. I'm getting lost. I've played this countless times, but I still get lost, which I think is kind of the point. Just need to find the staff area. Aha! Okay, there's this structure here. It's such a strange feeling. It's like I'm lost, I'm in a weird place, it doesn't make any sense, but I also kind of want to just be here and play around. But I'm lost and scared. There we go. So if you go around, if you keep following it around, it just comes to like a mirror image of where you just were, which is confusing. Again, that's the point. Anemoiapolis. Ah, here we are. Okay, so into the staff area. This is when it gets much weirder. Must be some kind of water reservoir. Now, I don't know if this is like referencing something or what, but like I know that on I was checking my phone. I forget that the camera's on. I don't usually have a camera. I forget that sorry, I remember that on a lot of the Reddits that I've been on about these things, they often have a thing like this, like just a room with like steps going into what looks like a pool in a tiled room, and apparently these are to do with water reservoirs. I have no idea, but this is what people say. They say, oh, apparently it's a water reservoir, and maybe that line references. Look, this water looks absolutely fantastic. I feel like that guy on Miiverse says, water, great water. I think this is cube mapping because, check out, okay, so I think if I'm in the right position here, then that door is reflected. But the reflection of the door is moving away from the door. So it's, I'm assuming this is done with a still image. Again, I'm still learning this stuff, but I think that's a form of cube map. And again, if I go to the right place there, then the reflection makes sense, but it kind of doesn't if you go further out. But again, this is the kind of thing that you're not going to notice unless you're looking for it. There's you can see a low res reflection there. And then the glass as well. It's really cool. The glass has a really subtle reflection, so you can tell it's glass and it's not just a clear panel. You know what, they used to just have like a weird sort of white thing over glass, but now it's a reflection. But is it reflecting what I'm seeing? No. If you look, there appears to be a door of some sort and some lights in the reflection which aren't here. And I don't know if that's just an image or a cube map or what, but it's, again, it's an you know what, I think it's reflecting what's the other side of it. It's kind of backwards reflecting, maybe, I don't know. But again, you don't notice unless you're looking for it. It's just it's a nice little trick where you just kind of have some sort of reflection, and it's good enough, and your brain goes glass. I don't think we're supposed to see that super low res one there, but I made a mistake and I got stuck in here earlier because for some reason I couldn't jump out. So I'm going to go down this way. It's absolutely gorgeous water. Look at the normals on that water. It's just really awesome. Oh, and there's the first look at the silhouette man. It's more screen space reflection. Check the reflection of this crossbar, and as it goes off the screen, the reflection vanishes there. I'm not sure what's going on here, but there's like a weird... The shape of the reflection is like almost spiky, but and I am not entirely familiar with how it works, but I'd like to learn. Oh, very bright. There's a lot of cool things in here where it's like blink and you'll miss it. So yeah, okay, first there's this room, which looks, excuse me, it looks a lot like a lot of the, if I drowned here, nobody would notice. Yeah, it looks a lot like a lot of these weird like liminal space renders. People say like this pool doesn't make sense. I also noticed, let's check the texture seams there. Again, doesn't matter because this, as a whole, this thing is awesome, and I think it's amazing that an indie dev can make something like this. I don't care about things like that, you know. Again, there's do you see the door, but the door's reflected over there. It's fascinating. Now, again, this isn't a criticism, this isn't an error. This is just how this stuff works, and it's fascinating. That's the other thing, you can't actually swim down in this. There's no like swim down button, and again, I figure it's because the actual full game, there's going to be this pool area, but the rest of the game isn't about pools. You know, there'll be other kinds of spaces. Just noticing the water reflection on the ceiling, refraction, incredible. But it's details like this. Like the fact is that this game wasn't designed for you to go underwater. But if you do fall down for a minute, there's an entire underwater shader effect going on. And this is the thing I've often thought about when creating water in like prototypes and stuff. Is that you see, like when you go underwater, things are going to turn like a bluey kind of volumetric, foggy kind of look. And I remember playing games on the N64, like say Banjo-Kazooie, where you would go underwater and it would turn blue, but you'd have this brief moment if the water was halfway up the screen, like if the water line was halfway up the screen, you would see as if you weren't underwater above and below the line, and then you would, once you finally went under, it would suddenly click, it would switch to the blue. In Mario 64, in fact, there is no blue underwater. You just have this weird like blue water surface line, and then once you're underneath it, it's clear again. And they just basically made most of the underwater areas just look more blue colored. And then I tried a water shader in Unity where the dev had actually made it work so that if you're halfway under the water, the screen shades with the water start halfway up. And I don't know how to do that, and that seems complicated. But here I've noticed there's a smart thing it does where it actually... Do you spot that? The water effect just remains so long as even you're partially... Oh, I was just going to say if I drown here, nobody will notice. Another access panel. Ah, yeah, this thing, yeah. Okay, so... yeah, so it actually remains until you're completely above the water, and it's barely noticeable, but it's a smart way of doing it. I wonder if it would be possible to actually fade between the two styles of camera and maybe like... Yeah, okay, so these access panels, I didn't mention it before, but these are nice little... distraction, nice little way of just making it so you're doing something other than just walking, because there's the dude again, because there's just this this whole derogatory term walking simulator that you hear, and it's like, really, is that like, do I call like other games like fighting simulators? So that access panel actually opened a door way back here. It's very Tomb Raider. The hum of the light again. Really incredible atmosphere. I believe it opened that door over there. I'm going to jump across. Woohoo! I love the look of this room as well. This untextured revering. I don't know if maybe it's supposed to be like white and not red. But maybe it's, you know, the red would have taken away from the atmosphere. And that interests me. That thing down there, just... that outlet or whatever the heck it is. There's something really uncomfortable about it. It makes you think of like you're in a swim pool as a kid and you get maybe, you know, get too near to the outlet and the lifeguard suddenly starts just absolutely blowing his whistle at you like, get away from there, because you don't want to get stuck in there. But is there anything? Yeah, I always can never quite get down there, but I always wonder if, you know, could you look in there and would you see the dude? But there's a lot of like blink and you'll miss it things as well. Like, I'm going to strafe around here because there he is. Again, blink and you'll miss it. A few times I played through and I hadn't seen that. Or these puzzles. So, I'm going to actually go up and around this here so that I don't obstruct the path. I see this as like... I just want to go in there. Yeah. 3 foot... Don't dive. Yeah, you don't want to dive into that. Good thinking. Again, there's this ceiling here. In fact, there's a section where I was before. The one that is over here somewhere. Not that one. Yeah, that room there where I was before. There's just that squared pool of water, very deep. Where you can see the figure, but there's a hole in the ceiling there, and you can actually fall down into there from a bit later on if you do it right. It's very bizarre layout. Again, it's just this area. You know, you could take a snapshot of this game and just be like, oh, it looks like some kind of 1990s spa. I say 1990s because of how plain and white everything is, and you know, they tried to make things a little more colourful since those days in like malls and spas and the like. But again, it just there's a slide from the later area. Just the verticality of this, you can just see where you're going and where you've been, because these random holes in the ceiling that don't make any sense. No, nothing about these pools make any sense, like you said. And there's where we were earlier, which this ledge was just a little bit too high to get up. You could always loop round if you wanted to explore, but I'm not going to do that. And oh, what's the point? What's the point in this part? You put some storage there, or just fill it up or something. You can also open these. Nothing in any of them, because nobody's here. Some interesting texture layouts here. I don't know, like the vertical tiles which have been cut, which makes sense. I suppose it would be that way in real life. Maybe there'd be a line along here. I don't know, but again, it's just things that you don't notice. And but this and this side there on a different angle. And again, I don't think this is laziness. I think this is just, it's like, let's focus on getting an overall nice picture rather than on minutia, which I agree with. And also, it kind of adds to just the wrongness of this place. So now I can hear sounds, almost sounds like there's some kids playing in the distance or something, like the kind of sounds you hear at a pool like this, but there's nobody here. I love how the reflection of these as well, the sort of chromey kind of thing. I don't know if that's a material or something that the dev has done, but I have seen on his Twitter that he I spotted the guy then. I hadn't seen him in here before. Or, you know, maybe it's the dev's own shader. So I've seen on his Twitter that he makes shaders and things. So maybe using shader graph, which is awesome. Absolutely beautiful game. I have to wonder, I don't think this has HDR support, because the lights kind of bloom into just a white blob, but I'd be interested to see what this would look like with HDR support. So this is just like almost black water here. Now, something that caught me off guard when I was playing it before, and there's the that edge thing happening again. Now the water gets lighter towards the edge. Again, I don't know if I'd like mask the edges out and zoom in slightly or what. I don't know what the answer is, but obviously this dev would know it better than me, to be honest. The chair reflecting itself looks really cool, but yeah, this caught me off guard. I fell in here, so whoa, that is really dark and really deep, and didn't see anything in there. But cool if there was something in there. Look at this. I don't know what this material that this stuff is made out of is, but it's again unsettling. And it's got the uncanny. It's in that uncanny valley where it's like the sounds you hear are really creepy, but they're also sounds that would make sense in this kind of place. They're not. It's not ghostly wailings. It's just like a clanging and just metallic sounds, and maybe what might sounds like a distant voice. It's the kind of thing that would make sense. There's the dude again. Look how deep this is. Woohoo! And yet it's not dark, this one. There's a smart little bit of, in my opinion, a smart little bit of game design through dialogue here, where he says, "I can't believe I'm about to do this," which is like the game's way of saying, "Yep, that's right, you're going to walk on the slide." So it doesn't, you look at it and go, "Can I walk on the slide? I don't know. Should I do that?" And then the "I can't believe I'm about to do this" kind of confirms it. Now, if you fall down here, oops, I didn't intend to, but there's that spa that we looked at earlier. And there are these little, almost secret, almost like hidden areas where you aren't supposed to be, but the dev has thought about them and put them in there. So along here, don't know why this particular one got to me, but there's that. Oh, that's to the reservoir room. Okay, so the further along, you can also fall down into the little square of water that I'm going back, because there's no way back up other than whoop down all the way back here. You just fall all the way back, but thankfully all the doors are open now, so you can just skip through faster. But yeah, the verticality of all this is It's cool and it's weird. I think I'm going the right way back. Yeah. Just constantly walking past like humming strip lights and things. Sorry if I'm making gross noises. I'm still a little bunged up. I haven't had a cold. It's just a weird thing. I think they call it rhinitis. I've had it for like 3 months now. Maybe I had COVID and didn't... well, I've been doing tests, but... You know, maybe I got long COVID. I don't think so, because I didn't get any positive lateral flows, but... The humming of these lights is getting louder and deeper. So I don't know where this game's story is actually going. Like, I don't think this is like a real place. Or maybe it's a place made by aliens that are trying to recreate what humans made or whatever. Or maybe this guy is in like a kind of a purgatory, a kind of Silent Hill-ish place. But I don't know, but I'm interested to see where it goes. And look at these beautiful... You see the normals on that water just causing it to reflect the different colors from different angles, and it's beautiful. And being that it's not ray traced, it's not necessarily how the reflections would or should work, but it just looks great. And this is what I often say with the ray tracing thing, right? Maybe in 5-10 years when ray tracing is much more common and the hardware does it more easily, maybe we can rely on it more. I don't know, but I still think that sometimes it's not about mathematically real light. It's about what looks right. You know, we use these raster effects like screen space reflection, etc. Now, are we one day never going to use these, or is there, you know, are things like the Nintendo Switch and like mobile processors becoming more of a thing, and we will fall back onto raster effects again? Who knows? But an exit finally. No, I have to. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I wondered if there's a lot of. Perhaps it's just because it's supposed to be a spa, but there's a lot of like gendered changing rooms, bathrooms, and a lot of like gendered imagery, and I wonder if there's something about. I don't know. I don't want to get into that whole, open that whole can of worms, but is there? I thought I saw feet in there. Oh, that opened by itself. And shut again. That's creepy. So this is the area where I've noticed a lot of YouTubers playing it get really creeped out. Now, I don't know if there's anything that can catch you. I haven't even seen the dude, you know, this shadow. I haven't even seen the silhouette, you know, of the dude in here before. But this is a place where if you watch people playing it, they kind of get more creeped out. There's like a low hum in here. And there's some kind of ambient music going on that just makes... And the light in here just makes this place feel a lot more unsettling than the rest. And it makes no sense now. This is straight up maze. It's rooms repeating themselves. This isn't PT, you know. You're not looping around a corridor. There are just, you know, tens, maybe hundreds of copies of the same rooms. But follow the exit signs, I found, and it gets you kind of around the place. Yeah, that the shower went on. Oh, there he is. Right, can you get caught by him? Can you? Come on. Yes, you can. Okay. I've not had it happen before, but yes, you can. Cool. Okay. So at least I've found that if you follow the exit signs, you tend to go the right way. But what's really cool, it didn't just... A lot of these games would have that thing chase you, and it would have... It play like music or whatever that gets louder as it gets closer to you. But what this did is like... It just activates stuff. So like you hear like the clatter of the lockers opening, or you hear the showers go on or whatever. Just things happen around you. That's super cool and creepy. I'm just I don't know if this is the actual solution, but I found I usually find my way around if I follow exit signs. Is there someone in here with me? What a creepy line to say. So surprisingly good, like, dialogue, in the sense that the dialogue is useful. It helps with the progress. You know, you say, or with the atmosphere. The line, as I said before, the line, "I can't believe I'm going to do this." It's a sensible thing for the guy to say to himself, but it also kind of instructs you. It doesn't say, should I walk on this slide? And they're just there. Is there someone in here with me? Beautiful, because it doesn't say, I'd better run from that mysterious figure, but it doesn't leave you to just be like, if you haven't seen it yet, because, I mean, I've gone through this entire part without even seeing the guy in times. And so it's just really, really cool. Keep moving. Love that. Sometimes it's a while before you see an exit sign, and that's parts where I get uncomfortable. But I think there are several exits to this area as well. I'm not sure. There's another. But you just basically find out is keep moving again. If I looped around, I don't know. It's hard to know if you've looped around. Here we go. There's the light, and there's the door. It's hard to know if you've looped around or not, because sometimes you just walked into a copy of the same room you were already in. Something is very wrong. Yeah, there's the women and men thing again. And the beautiful music as well. It's almost got an Akira Yamaoka Silent Hillishness to some of the music. Or maybe a bit of Philip Glass, was that his name? No, I've seen, I could be wrong, but I've seen videos of YouTubers playing this where they see a guy through here. But maybe I'm remembering it wrong. The other thing is this room exists only to go up there and up the top, and yet it's all decorated out of pool and spa. Look at these beautiful shaders as well. My goodness. Anybody there? No. Oh yeah, and there's some gumballs. He says, I used to like gumballs. Interesting, you used to like them? Did you go off them, or did you just because you're an adult? He doesn't want to pick them up, you know, doesn't eat them. Can you imagine if you just eat all the gumballs? Press R to blow bubbles. These water reflections here. Again, it maybe not necessarily exactly how that water would reflect, but it looks great. And I think that's my concern with like ray tracing, is that are we going to like hand lighting over to a computer and say do it for us? Or are we going to light our scenes? I suppose it ends up like kind of like photography, where a photographer shines the right lights in the right places to create the effects that he wants, and we'll just do that and the computer will respond. But I still think there's a place for, you know, in the future when ray tracing becomes something that graphics cards can do easy, I still think there's a place for raster effects. And again, I bet there'll probably be a lot more things like the Nintendo Switch where we use mobile chipsets which are not going to be, you know, firing on all cylinders and RTX. Whoa! Never done that before. Dem physics. What was that sound when I landed? Perhaps he's here? No. It's interesting, this music, I wouldn't call it vaporwave, you know, that's what they're calling that kind of perverted versions of old sort of 80s mall music and that, but it's weird. It's the kind of music, elevator music, you know, the stuff that you would associate with where they would play in a place to make you feel comfortable. But it's just played. It's so lonely and desolate in here, and the music echoing. It's like, it's as if to say, you know, there's supposed to be people here because the music's playing for them. It's something really unsettling about it. And then you get to the, well, as the popular phrase is now, the back rooms. You know, the back rooms has been an incredibly popular meme. So the exit's over that way. This actually just loops around, but I'm going to walk through it because it's cool. Just these empty rooms. And, you know, a lot of people, if you've ever worked in well, anywhere really, there's always those rooms around the back that are only for staff, which don't need to be decorated, you know, which don't need to look nice. And there's empty corridors and stuff. You know, you even go to a hotel and you go around to the back rooms, which aren't supposed to be, or like a mall or anywhere. There's always those corridors which are not for the public, which just these empty, weird places. And so you associate that with, it's either that or another feeling that, another thing I think about when I see these like liminal space images is, when I lived in Cheltenham in a flat, and I remember when I moved out of that flat, I was moving to a smaller place in a less nice town, to save some money. And I remember the feeling of just, you know, recently shampooed carpets, because you got to do that when you move out, you know, and all the furniture, everything gone, and just sitting in this empty room, and there's the quietness and the echo when you would speak and stuff in this room. And it was a weird feeling, because it can be a really sad feeling because you're leaving a place that you loved, or it can be a exciting feeling because you're moving into a new place that you like. But it's kind of seeing all this empty carpet with nothing in it and stuff. This kind of gives you that kind of after hours work thing, you know, if you're working in a warehouse or again in the back rooms of somewhere, and you know you're the last one, you're closing up, there's that empty feeling and something weird about it. And it's been a phenomenon on the internet of, can I open this? Yeah. Oh, look, here we are. I sometimes don't come in here. And he's gone. You can't go through this glass. Now this glass isn't reflecting, so it kind of almost looks like a clear area, which is that's the difference, isn't it? You know, like, okay, there is a shader on the glass, kind of, but that's that reflection of. Remember, it wasn't quite reflecting accurately, but it doesn't matter, because just having some form of reflection just shows your brain that there's glass there, and seeing it without it goes to show how much that helped. But yeah, as I say, it's been these stairs aren't textured. There's been like a a phenomena on the internet, just on Reddit and everywhere else, to just these feelings, these weird feelings at a place that isn't quite. It's again, they use the word liminal, meaning between. So a lot of the time they say, you know, liminal spaces meaning like corridors, because you're not supposed to stay there. It's in a transition between two places. But I don't think it's just that, right? I think you'll say things like, you know, a terminal at an airport, because you're not designed for somewhere where you're going to be staying for long periods of time. It's just somewhere where you are when you're going from one place to another. So it would imply, as these pictures show, you know, hallways and things like that. But also, I think it can like be like places in a liminal state. So that's why I was talking about, like, you know, when I was moving out of my old flat, where you're just sitting in this room where this room is empty, the carpets are recently shampooed, and this place, it's not the state that this place is intended to be in. It's not lived in, or it's not completely moved out either. It's in this like liminal like state, like phase. Anyway, thank you for playing the Anemoiapolis Chapter 1 beta. It better be Chapter 1 beta. The other 50% is still on the way. As a solo developer, these things take time. Yeah, I feel you, brother. In the meantime, feel free to explore. I will. This level is under construction, but go ahead and look around. You'll not be able to progress to the next level until the final game release. To whet your appetite. Isn't it whet your appetite, WHET? Come on, game developers, get with the program. I could be wrong. To whet your appetite, here are some images of what is yet to come. Love this one. Wish I could crouch down to look at it, but that, you know, the flooring there and just everything about that image is awesome. Love that, just that lone popcorn stand in just this empty room. Creepy card. This is almost like latter-day David Lynch looking, you know, kind of Inland Empire and whatever this place is. Like, oh, there's a person. No, a mannequin there. And that 90s looking carpet. I love those 90s carpets. Bring back 90s carpets. And here it's just this empty. It's miles and miles and miles. Like, I've walked around this quite a lot. There's nothing much new to see, but creepy sounds though. There is a That's okay. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's a very creepy effect. So what they've got, they've got a buzz of something. I don't think that's the strip lights. I think it sounds like it's like a generator or something. But the Doppler effect on it is really exaggerated. So as you walk away from it, the pitch gets lower, like it would if you were walking really fast, like going a long way. But you're not going that far, so it's done this weird, which is very creepy. But there's just a lot of empty rooms and corridors to wander around, which I don't think I'll be doing much of. But yeah, like, give me more, hook this game to my veins, man. I want to play more of this. Get this on all the consoles. Just, this is cool. And I often felt that this liminal space concept should be made into a game, and I'm sure there are other games that do it, but this is doing it really well. Like, amazing work. Really, really like this, and I can't wait to see more of it. I don't know if this video has been of any interest to anybody, but I just like this game so much that I wanted to kind of just record it and talk about it a little. It's not really, a game dev deconstructing it or anything like that, because I don't know as much about 3D as this guy does. I'm still learning. I'm getting there, but I'm still learning. And I'm not even critiquing the design or anything. I'm just saying, hey, this game is really cool. Look at it. It's on Steam for wishlist. If you want to play through the demo that I just played through, it's on itch.io. These Doppler effects on this sound is crazy. Whoa. Kind of want to follow these sounds. This is amazing. So I tried following the exit signs in here as well, but there's just hundreds of them. I don't think this is going to be... Obviously, this is just empty rooms that have been... Which, the actual game content will be in these... in the final game. And I think this is just explore the emptiness. But yeah, amazing, amazing stuff. Go check it out. Thank you for watching.